Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, not Wednesday. Again, I don't know, maybe I should just change my regular day to Thursday, especially during market season, since it seems to throw me way behind on my schedule. Anyways, I have some things to share with you. Well, first off, tomorrow is another market day. So I have to charge all my lights and my iPad and my power pack and do some laundry. Yuck. I have a lot to do today. Plus finish up a few things. So I started off my week because we sold so many swings last time, making a bunch of swings. Now, I tried on Monday's live without my buddy Heather, making the swings for all the critters that I had made on Saturday and Sunday. So basically Saturday and Sunday, I spent the whole days, well, not the whole days, but you know, like I started late Saturday night and then I worked on some on Sunday. And anyways, I started with swings because I was totally wiped out. I had 2 frogs and 2 plants left after the last market. So we busted out the All from Jade's Water Animals pack and started making swings. But this particular one is my own little modification. I make little bees on the swing. Very easy to convert, just color changes. Add a couple of antennae and some wings onto the back, and you have bees on a swing. Now, 2 of these get set aside for a special order that I am doing for a subscriber, and that's a big order. So 2 of these are for that. So only 1 bee gets to go to market. So we have 1 bee, well, 3 bees, but 1 for the market. And then for, am I missing one? Oh, there it is. There it is. 5 mallards on a swing. And I do the critters out of Parfait Chunky with 10mm eyes. And then the swings, I use Big Twist Posh. I just feel that it's a little bit sturdier than Parfait Chunky. So, oops, you already saw the bee. So 5 mallards. And, oops, 1 just hit the floor and went way under my desk. 2. And 5 penguins. Now the penguins, because the head of it is black, you have to use a colored eye. I am now officially out of a small enough size that I can do that with. And they all kind of have different colored eyes because I was scraping the bottom of the barrel on these. As far as I know, they only come in a variety pack. So I have a bunch of sizes that probably won't ever get used. But those are the, what do they call them? Like laser etched eyes. And yeah. So I'll have to look because those, I want to say those are a 12mm and not a 10mm. So they're a little bit bigger than the other eyes, but that's okay. And then we have 5 of the yellow chicks or yellow ducks, however you see them. Considering it is All from Jade's water pack, I want to say that they are ducks, but when I look at them, I see chicks. What can I say? So 5 of those and 5 otters. And this time I remembered their ears. Now, I probably should have made less of each so that I could get a bigger variety. But I don't know. I was like, 5's a good number. Let me just do 5 of each. And then let me tell you, I got bored with making swings. So I had to stop. So I do have something of a selection. Tomorrow's market is not what you would call a bigger market. It can be good, but it can be slow as too. So, hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. Ooh, 2 kitties are coming to see me. Hello, babies. So, anyways, I have something. Now, it won't be empty. Then I moved on to the cats in the bed. It is a Poggy's Place pattern. I had made a couple of beds during a live with Heather, and I had 2 beds that were left over that didn't have cats to them, so that gave me a little bit of a head start. So we made this one, gave it a yellow bed. I mean, they could switch up beds if they want. And this one. And this one. And also another one that the mom prepaid for at the last market, and it has been shipped off, but it was more white with one black side and an ear. And then we did a solid black. And I don't know, I kind of like the orange like that, so I did 2 of these. And a solid white. Then in my order that I have for my subscriber, 3 cats. So this one has its bed, and this one still needs a bed, and this one still needs a bed. Then there was one more cat, and I went to put the ears on it, and I kept looking at it like, what is wrong with this? Why? What's wrong with it? And then I realized I pulled a Mary and I forgot to put the eyes in. So there is one other cat. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the one I shipped off. Would have been 11, but I forgot the eyes. So that one, it's not a loss. I will just do some embroidered eyes on it and stick it in the safer for baby section. So it's not a total loss. I just need to embroider the eyes on it. I was just like, what the heck? I don't usually do that. I don't usually forget the eyes. But I did this time. So then another thing that I needed to remake, and I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Voriashka Toy Shop. The Puppies in a Bed. So I had one bed already made from doing a live, and I think that one was with Heather as well. Might have been on my own. I'm not sure. I don't remember. All my days are blending together. But it needed a puppy, so that gave me a head start. All I had to do was make the puppy. So I picked one of the dogs that was a solid color because I was being lazy, and made the puppy to go with the bed. So that gives me 2 of these to take to market with me. And yeah, we'll go from there. So then when I did this, or when I was showing this bed last time, I showed you it with another one that I thought was the same color, because the browns, the caramel, had really thrown me off with the dye lots being so different. I thought the other 2 were the same, and it wasn't. One was bright violet and one was orchid. So that was not Premier's fault on that one. That one was all me. But the browns, the caramel, that was definitely different. So after making all those little things, I'm like, I need to do something of substance. And it was one of those where I was kind of fighting sleep all day long. All I wanted to do was just close my eyes. Every now and then I have a day like that. I just want to close my eyes and sleep. So it took me longer than normal, but I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that because, you know, it was just a me thing. And we did another splooting Highland cow. This time I used rust, and I was able to do so because another subscriber, very nice, Nancy, thank you very, very much. She sent me a box of yarn, and in it was a skein of rust in the brights, and that allowed me to have enough to use rust on the Highland cow. Because, you know, the browns, for whatever reason, are super popular, and they're a little hard to get right now. Yes, they are. So, yeah, we got to do the Highland cow. And the first one sold on its market debut. So we'll see what happens with this one, which, if it doesn't sell tomorrow night, I am not concerned because it will go quick. They are just adorable. And I need to place another eye order. I have used a lot. I'm almost out of the 16 millimeter. I am out of 30s, so I had to use 35s. I can't find my color discs for my 25s. I might not have ordered any when I ordered the 25 millimeter eyes. I don't know. I can't find it. So it's possible that I didn't order it. So then I'm like, it's time for something new again. You know me. I have to try something new. So Heather had sent me a message on Instagram on a tester call. And I really am hesitant to commit myself to doing any tests right now because I have the order that I'm working on. That is 13 plushies. I have almost 5 once the 2 little cat beds are made. Some of them are really quick and easy, like a few keychains, but there are a couple of them that take, you know, a few hours to make a plushie. So I want to make sure I have that done in time so it gets to Sarah on time. And then I have another request for an order but that's not needed till January. So the other ones come first. Then I have one other order that needs to be done before Christmas. So I'm a little hesitant to commit to doing a test. As much as I enjoy doing them, I'm a little hesitant at the moment. But anyways, Heather had sent me this link for a tester call. And I'm like, oh, I would love to, but I can't. I just can't commit myself at the moment. But I went over to check out their Etsy shop. And I caved. I bought some more patterns. And I started off with just one. And it was, well, I kind of had a little bit of a motive behind it. I bought one that was just an individual. It was like $3 and some change. And the others I like favored and added to cart, you know, to see, because some sellers will give you a coupon. And then also too, if I purchase just the one, you get a thank you coupon. So I bought one, and these are mini snugglers. So what I've noticed since I separated out my things with embroidered eyes and made like a safer for baby, you know, 3 and under section, I don't put a sign up that says that. That way I don't limit my sales, like people thinking they can't buy that because it's just for 3 and under. But I have it separated so it's easy to find when people ask. But some of the comments I've been hearing that it's too big. They're looking for something smaller. And so that got me thinking. I get a lot of people looking at the Loveys, Snugglers, whatever you want to call them. And maybe it's because they're too big. The ones that I have left, maybe it is because they're too big. Like the one I just sold last Friday was Mimi Makes Keepsakes, Marsha's Bee. That was a smaller one. And they've been, you know, they're very hit and miss for me, but is it because they're so big? Maybe. Maybe I have the wrong philosophy when it comes to the Loveys. You know, when I do the plushies, I play with the different yarns to see, you know, like to get size out of them. Maybe plushies don't, or not plushies, the snugglers, Loveys, whatever, don't need size. So Just a Mom Crocheting has a whole bunch of mini snugglers. So the one that I purchased first was a llama. And you know what? This was so easy. You sit there and you see all these bobbles. You think, oh, that's going to take forever. It does not. It was so easy. And now, of course, they tell you to use safety eyes, but I don't want safety eyes. I want to do embroidered eyes so that little ones can have them. On this one, I just shaped the face before I sewed the eyes on. So it made it easier for me. But it's even got a little bobble for a tail back here. So this is, you know, you can see it in my hand. It's not very big, but yet it has a good size. And I think it's like perfect for little ones, you know, like under a year old. Like they could really hang on to this. So because this one went so well for me, I went back. And now I had a 10% off coupon because I had added to cart and favored. I'm not sure which one got me the coupon. But I bought a 4-pack, and it was a farm pack. Now, I've made 3 out of the 4. You get a cow, a Highland cow, a pig, and a donkey. The Highland cow is the one that I did not make. I started off with the regular cow. I mean, like, look how adorable. And again, it is, like, small. Now, of course, the first time always takes the longest to make. And sometimes, depending on the stiffness of the chenille brights, smaller pieces can be hard. So like this brown was stiffer. The caramel was stiffer than the rest of the yarn. So like to make this little ear was hard. Only because the yarn did not want to flex. So I did all of these little mini snugglers out of the chenille brights because, you know, it is a blanket type yarn, and I just think it'll wash better if the parent throws it in the wash. And these, when I saw this pack, I was like, those might just be perfect for February. Because February, I have a farm and quilt show that I'm going to, and it's supposed to be one of the bigger events at this venue. Now, I don't know what they consider big, but sounds like it's going to be fun. You know, they have a lot of like horse pulling competitions and things like that. It sounds like it'll be really fun. So I did the cow, then I moved on to the pig. I skipped over the Highland cow because I'm like, well, I already have a cow. So I moved on to the pig, and I see a little end poking through here. Let me tuck it in. So we got the little pig. I used mystical and brights on this one. Now this one, I will say, now this is my third one because I did the llama and the cow. This one I struggled with a little bit. My decreases and increases for the head were not landing in the right spot. So I had to do a little bit of frogging and adjusting to get them to land right. Now, that might have been me. I did not try to do it a second time. I just did it once. I could have messed up, earlier on, or it just could have been my tension. But so we have another end poking out. Boy, I was like, was I in a hurry doing this or what? Anyways, so he's got the little curly tail in the back. It is a cute pattern, but like I said, I struggled a little with the head, but it could have all been me. It could have been all me. Or it could have been the pattern. I don't know. I will know better the next time I do it. And again, this is one of those things, they're small enough, you don't have to try to figure out a fancy way to display them. They can just be in a little basket on the table, but I just thought they were adorable. And it was worth the cost. I think I paid $7 for the 4-pack, but it was worth the cost to try it out, to see if it is a size thing, why the Loveys don't sell that great. Can you hear their little feet pitter-pattering on the floor? It's so cute. Then I moved on to the donkey. He has his tail. Now I did the end of the tail a little different. Didn't quite come out the way I wanted it to, but it will work for this one. This one, I don't know. I think the ears for a donkey need to be a little bigger. It is cute, but mine did not look as cute as her picture did. And again, I'm like burning the candle at both ends, and I could have been off on something. The cow and the llama went so well, it's making me think that it's me on these last two. So after finishing this one, we called it quits for the day. I was like, that's enough. And the next day I was thinking, I bought this Pony Lovey pattern a while back, and I've only ever made it once, and it did sell. It took it a little while to sell, but in fairness on that, it just kind of like blended in with other things, and I don't think people really realized what it was. And then I kept telling John when he was putting the Loveys on display, here, this one's the Lovey. You need to hang this up too. Once we hung it up with the other ones, it sold rather quickly. But this one is by Avery Crafts a lot. And I thought it would go perfect with these other little farm animals. And it's this pony. This one is just sew the head to the body. These are sew the head and arms to the body. Sew the head, the arms, and the ears. This one is just sew the head and the arms, because you have your choice of crocheting in the ears or sewing them on. Because you're doing it in the bobble stitch area, she gave options on that. But this one, you crochet in the legs, you crochet in the arms, you sew on the head, ears are made in the round, and then of course you have to go back and surface crochet the mane and the tail. But I thought it would be a perfect addition, or should I say these others would be the perfect addition with this, and I can just have them laying in a little basket on the table so that they can be seen. Then I had one last item that I made, and This also came from Just a Mom Crocheting, and it is a mini snuggler. But on this one, I chose to use the safety eyes for 2 reasons. They're bigger eyes, and this one has to have the eyes. So she has a Night Fury and a Light Fury snuggler style pattern. And let's see. These are crocheted in the round. These are surface crocheted, and very interesting how they are done. The wings. The arms and the legs you have to sew on. The head you have to sew on. And the part of the tail fins, ornaments, whatever you want to call it, is surface crocheted. But I was like, I don't think I can do a toothless and not use the big green eyes. Now, I had to finagle this. One, I didn't want to take the time to, they're getting into something out there. I didn't want to take the time to paint my own eyes because I was already to the point of, I got to put the eyes in. And this is when I discovered that I can't find, or I did not order the discs for my 25mm eyes. So I had some 30mm discs, and I put it on there, and I just trimmed around the edge of it to make it fit. And it worked out just fine. So I was like, I'm completely out of any toothless. So I was like, I have to try this. I want to see if it's good. And I guess it would be kind of along the lines of the Ditty Decks. She used, in the pattern instructions, she used like, what are you guys doing? She used like, she used like Parfait Chunky, that type of yarn, and a 4.5mm hook. And I'm using Brights with a 6mm, so it does make it a little bigger. They would come out much smaller. But I think these came out a good size using that yarn. And I felt like it was worth my time. But yeah, so I was completely sold out. And it could be, that's what I was saying, it could be along the lines of the Ditty Decks. Now, I have not gotten that pattern, but so many people make it, and I see so many people talking about how good they sell. I just haven't made the plunge on it. I don't know why. I just haven't. I know Heather does really well with them. I think Crafty Kate does really well with them. But I just haven't taken the plunge on that one. So I have a little selection of mini snugglers. And that is pretty much what I got made. 23 swings, 11 cats in beds, minus 2 beds. 1 dog in a bed, but I already had the bed. 1 Highland cow. And 6 mini snugglers, 3 of which are farm themed, and 1 dragon. So I think I did okay. But I feel like my most productive day was kind of yesterday. Only because I made several of those snugglers yesterday. Not all of them, but several of them. And I felt like because each one was different, that I was getting something done. So, now, do you guys want to see all the yarn that Nancy sent me? Okay, well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. So, hang on and let me get the box and clear this stuff off my desk, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the box. It was waiting at the gate for me when I got home last Friday night from the market. I was like surprised it was there and surprised that it was still there, because it had been sitting there according to my email since like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So what she did is she asked me, she had some Brights that she didn't use. She asked me if I wanted them. And she sent me a list of colors, and I was like, Yes, please. I'll take them. And then she listed a couple of other yarns that she had that she doesn't use for various reasons, whether she didn't like them or they were too thin or too thick, or, you know, she had her reasons. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with the yarns. And they were yarns that I've never tried before. So my mind, I was thinking, oh, she'll just send a couple of them and it'll give me an opportunity to try them and see if it would be something I would be interested in getting at some point. So when I actually was able to look in the box, at first I was like, oh, there was some Naughty Pony. What a nice brown that is. I'm like, oh, it feels really good. I like how it feels. It kind of, some of them kind of remind me of, say, like Juicy Couture Velvet or Bernat Velvet, but much thicker. So I'll get to try these for the first time. I haven't done it yet. But so there was, I think, 2 of these. This label keeps wanting to pop off, of course. It does not say how many yards are in it. It's a 6 weight and says it's 100 grams. Now, compared to a Parfait Chunky skein, these look smaller, but Parfait Chunky is also 100 grams, and there's 131 yards in that. So I'm going to assume that it is close to that. So we had those 2 browns. There is this blue. Does it say a color name? No, it has a color number. So there is this blue. And this very pretty green. A light purple. A red. A white. More brown, which is also a nice brown. Couple of light blue. Pink. A yellow. Black. This one feels like a different texture. Another black. An orange. This looks like a ruby. Oops, that is a different brand. That is a different brand. Okay, so that was the Naughty Pony. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 skeins of Naughty Pony. I mean, like, how freaking generous is that? I feel like it is Christmas. Santa came early to my house. I must have been a good girl this year. So we have those. And then one of the others that I have never tried is the Himalayan Dolphin Baby. So there are a few colors of that. There's this very pretty purple, a ruby red, a blue, and I think that is it on those for now. And then there's the chenille brights. We have, this is how I realized I was wrong about the die lots, because in there with 2, this one is orchid and this one is bright violet. So I got my colors mixed up thinking that they were the same. So those 2 in brights, the rust that allowed me to make the Highland Cow, and a chocolate brown, which feels much softer and more flexible than the chocolate that is sitting on my shelf. A peach. a sage green, which I use quite a bit of. Cranberry. Denim. Hot coral. Kiwi. Winter white. Emerald. I'm telling you, I feel like Santa came early. Oh my goodness. Caribbean. Eggplant. Okay, and then there were some partial skeins, which is fine because you know what? It all works. A tangerine, a steel cut oats, poppy, and a white. And there's definitely enough left in those to make something with. And hibiscus. Okay, so that is the brights. That is a lot. That is a lot. I'm like, Santa was so good to me. So then there are some in here that I think she said were Amazon purchases. And again, it's one that I've never used. It is Hobby Mia Velvona. So there's a brown, a darker brown. This kind of looks like a mauve or a blush. Here's another partial parfait chunky in toffee and a parfait chunky in pale gray. And a parfait chunky in yellow, and I think this one is the Sunshine. And then the last thing in the box, my goodness, Nancy, you were so generous, unbelievably generous, is some more Himalayan Dolphin Baby in green. So, yeah, I'm like just in shock at how much yarn she sent me. And I can guarantee you it will go to good use. I mean, I know how the brights work. I know how Parfait Chunky works. I'm excited to be able to try the Naughty Pony and Himalayan Dolphin Baby. I am like thrilled. I cannot believe that. That was so generous, Nancy. Thank you again so very much. And at that note, you guys, it's been so cold the last few days, and today I feel really warm. I am going to sign off, start charging my lights, and I have just a small amount of stuff to put price tags on, just the stuff I showed you today. So that won't take me very long, and get that done and taken care of. And then I will see what other things that I could possibly get into to make. I might do a couple of chicks and eggs because I'm almost out of those. I only have 2 left. And maybe a I'll get those other 2 cat beds made so that I can say those parts are done for that special order. And then I don't know what else I'll do. But I have a lot to do. We'll see if I can get it done. Luckily, certain things like charging the lights and crocheting can both be done at the same time. So it's not like pick and choose one or the other. Anyways, all right, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go and I'm going to get some of this stuff done. And we'll talk again very soon.